following show features stupid opinions and ideas from two idiot brothers who probably did little research and practiced zero due diligence on the topic at hand. The MLO Bros' opinions do not reflect the views of their employer, guests, sponsors, families, neighbors, or pets. If you do not like what they are saying and don't agree with their views or opinions, don't watch the show. We can promise we do not care. Welcome to the worst show on the internet.
Hey, Isaac.
Hey, welcome everybody to the MLO Bros special edition, 6:45 edition, because Luke's got to take his kids to basketball later.
Yeah, I got a coach. And I'm blue right now because my wall and everyone's home, and it's just a mess. It's just a freaking mess today.
Nice.
My kid.
What happened? What happened today, Luke? Tell us about it.
My kid had an accident on the bus.
What did he do? What kind of accident?
He had a number 2 accident, and I'm like, dude, why? And they called. He was bawling, and I guess nobody really noticed.
So you're telling me your kid pooped his pants on the bus?
Yeah, he sharted. It was a shart.
Okay, so like walk me through. Did he like have to go before he got on the bus? How?
Nope. He just went, dude. You. To be fair, when you were sick, you did it. Remember?
I was actually I pooped my pants in Disney World. We were on the bus back to the hotel.
He's gone.
I don't know. I'm sure he'll be back. But I was in Disney World, and I did, in fact, poop my pants on the way back to the hotel. To be fair, Dad made me. He said, "Oh no, you can hold it till we get back to the hotel." Straight up, poop my pants on the
because that's like almost abuse. Yeah, He had to go. He had to go. He went.
Same with like Shelby. Shelby pooped her pants when she was a little girl. Her dad was like, "No, we're not stopping. We're going to the beach. We're not stopping the car." And she pooped her pants in the car. Like classic dad move.
Yeah, that's our that's the generation of our parents right there. You're not going to if they gotta go.
Not stopping for 10 minutes. We have to get to the beach right now.
My theory to that is who cares? You're literally saying, what is it, 15, 20 minutes? Like, come on.
Not worth the catastrophic trauma your child will remember the rest of their life.
When you were on vacation, were you allowed to get out of the car and go to the bathroom? If you were driving to the vacation or anything?
No, I remember peeing in a lot of bottles, man.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This is what is what
exactly. So, everybody, this is Josh Sainer. Sainer. How do I want to say that? Sauner.
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 I thought it was Sainer for like ever.
Dude, I've been saying Sainer forever too.
It worked out for my business because everybody's like, "Oh, you have Sainer solutions to wildlife." Dude. I'm like, "Yeah, that works."
100%. I say that every time we talk about you.
Yep. So that's fine.
So, So Josh, what's going on? So, how is the it's wildlife solutions. What do we got? Sainer solutions or Sauner solutions?
Sauner Solutions Nuisance Wildlife Removal is the name of my company. Yeah.
And I've been on the show a couple times.
I've been on. This is my 3rd time on your guys' podcast.
How is the nuisance? What's going on? Nuisance.
Busy, man. Busy. Like, a lot of skunk calls, a lot of rodent calls, like squirrels and mice and rats and stuff like that. So it's been steady. It's been busy. Skunks are just now getting into breeding season, and raccoons have been in breeding season since quite a while now, since like the end of November into December. So it's been busy.
Good. I see some new merch that you and Luke are both wearing. Let's see it.
Look, anarchy.
What, Luke? Can you show us the back of the shirt?
Yeah, dude, it's the same. This is the best because you all know my political beliefs, right? I hate yours too, Isaac. We hate politics. We hate political parties. Look. It's
know your nuisance animals. You got raccoons, squirrels, skunks, possums, Republican and Democrat representatives.
I'm so happy with it.
Love it.
Like it.
Love it.
Did you get a good response from that?
You know what? I was kind of afraid to post that. I was like, this is either going to ruin my business or it's going to boost my business. And actually, it's got a positive response because I think everybody, no matter what side you are or whatever, everybody's like, this is kind of funny and it's kind of true because, at the end of the day, no matter what side you're on, it's just rich dudes trying to stay rich,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the thing is, though, I think 90% of the population is tired of our government, is tired of political parties, and you just have that loud 5% Dems and 5% that are, I'm a diehard this, diehard that. People are so tired of them. And I mean, your shirts are a great example of that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm glad you got them, man. I'm glad you like them.
I'm glad you gave them. These are sweet. So are you selling them? Where can somebody get them?
Yeah. So they're posted on my business page at Solutions Nuisance Wildlife Removal on Facebook. The young lady that's doing them, the name of her business is Muddy Pastures LLC. She's the one that helped me. I was like, hey, I have this idea. Let's do this. And she was like, she made it realized, and she's been the one printing the shirts for me. And a lot of people have been interested in buying them, actually. So it's been pretty fun. Yeah.
That is awesome.
So in terms of a nuisance wildlife this year, are we expecting anything different, like more skunks, more raccoons, more? Do you think it's going to be a crazy year? Do you think it's going to be an easy year? What are you expecting?
Well, I'll tell you this. This is my third time on your guys' podcast, and this is my 4th year in business. And like, I'll be 100% honest with you. The biggest nuisance that I find on the planet is humans. I would expect, right now is breeding season. March and April and May is going to be when animals are giving birth. So yeah, that it's always going to be a busy time for me because people are, if they forget to put a cap on their chimney, or that piece of soffit's been hanging for a couple years, or their shed has been unlocked, or they like to leave cat food out, or they like to leave bird seed out, at nighttime. And, those are the common things that I get. They're basically making these animals that are opportunistic. They're giving them opportunities left and right. And unfortunately, the animals pay the price for people not, paying attention to their property and their homes,
For sure.
Do you rabbits?
Yeah, I've done some calls for rabbits.
I want to plug them, but I got a neighbor in the backyard, and it's like in the middle of pulling.
You want to do what?
Plug the rabbits.
Was like shoot them?
Yeah, like shoot them. No, not what you're thinking.
You're allowed to discharge a firearm where you live, right?
You're allowed, but it's probably not. Oh, it's gone. You're allowed, but you're probably not a good idea considering my neighbor's in the backyard with a really nice house. Could you imagine?
Yeah, you probably in Poland probably wouldn't be the best idea, but I mean, you probably could.
In the township. Sorry, we lost you there, Joe. In the township, you're allowed to discharge a firearm, but the problem is it's not a very bright idea where I am. You know what I mean? Maybe 22, but still, it's like, ugh.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's different ways to deter and scare away rabbits from the property,
Okay.
But yeah, I mean,
does any of the sprays or anything, they sell those sprays like the deer be gone and the rabbit be gone stuff?
Maybe a scarecrow, Luke. Get a scarecrow.
I'll be honest, I get a lot of clients that are, that they spend hundreds of dollars on these sprays or granular deterrents, or whether it be sound or noise or floodlights or motion detection lights. And once the animal realizes that they're not going to harm them, they don't care about it.
It's just part of the background then.
Yeah, it's just part of the background now. Like once the number one thing I get called for is raccoons. And once like, oh, well, that light's not hurting me, that noise isn't hurting me, that smell is not hurting me.
Yeah.
They're not going to care about that. They're still going to go for it,
Yeah. Well, it's food, right?
Yep.
So.
Yeah,
Guys, you got any pests over there?
What?
You got any pests in your yard over there?
You know what I get is groundhogs. There's groundhogs all over this place, but I don't have any like they're not bothering my house at all, so I just don't. And I don't have any crops or anything yet, but
well, that's the good thing. Like groundhogs are actually one of the 3 things in Ohio that actually hibernate during the winter. Like, so you have 3 things that hibernate in Ohio, and that is the groundhog, the little brown bats, and then jumping mice. And so the groundhogs aren't going to be active until the springtime again. So
yeah, I had in my barn underneath one of the like bricks by the door, Luke. I had a like a chipmunk nest underneath them, and Marshall and Link would like freak out by it. And then I was like, why are they doing this? And then you like go look under the brick and there's just like 10 of them.
Oh, just like looking at you.
Yeah, but they all disappeared eventually. I took all the crap out of the barn, so there's nothing in the barn for anything to eat. So they don't, nothing goes in there anymore.
So the nuisance, is it like you said, it's pretty much food related then, right?
Yeah, it is food related. Like I said, it's just a lot of carelessness on
people's part,
my clients' parts. Like, hey, I haven't had a cap on my chimney for 2 or 3 years, or hey, that piece of soffit has been hanging down for several months, or I feed the cats every single day and every single night, or I have 10 bird feeders at night. So, those are all opportunities for wildlife to come onto your property. So yeah, absolutely.
What Luke, do we have a video of him on the news?
Actually, yes, we do, Isaac. I'm glad you asked.
Let's play the video. Let's play the video of Josh on the news.
That was terrible.
So wait, we got to set this up, Isaac. Set it up. We were busted his balls. If you missed the show a while ago, we were busted his and poor Josh wasn't even here to defend himself, which made.
I swear, Josh, the one in the video, he doesn't know what to do. He's like Ricky Bobby. He's like,
I really
know what to do with my hands.
I'm like, I didn't know what to do with my hands. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Ready? I'll play it. But I'm going to defend you, Josh, because I've been on the news a bunch too. So I'm on your side on this.
I won't go on because I hate that type of atmosphere and that type of like presentation.
Because the weather gets.
So here's the part that made Isaac and I laugh. It's the beginning. But I agree with you, Josh. It's so awkward in the beginning.
It really is.
You're like.
It really is, because like when you go there, they're like, hey, show up a few minutes early. They don't prep you on what they're going to ask you, what's going to happen. They're just like, here, put this mic in your back pocket, put this under your shirt.
Let's go.
Yeah. And let's go.
Look at, you can tell right now, no offense, this is Josh being like totally. Here we go.
Colder. We're not the only ones trying to stay warm. There are some little creatures looking.
And you don't know if you're supposed to look at the camera, look at the lady. Like you don't know.
Josh is like, he's like, don't freak out. 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 Don't freak out.
And mind you, this was at 5:45 in the morning. And I was like, maybe my social anxiety won't wake up that early, but it, and I'm like, do I look at the camera?
As well.
Yeah.
To make sure they're staying out of your house, we're getting some help this morning. Josh Sonner is here from Sonner Solutions.
But you got my last name right.
Nuisance wildlife removal. Josh, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Did you also notice that she's like 3 feet tall?
She is a tiny little thing. Yeah,
she's like the tiniest lady I've ever. Like Isaac. She like I'm not kidding. She has to be 4'5".
Is she standing on a box behind that?
She's like on 5 boxes.
She's standing on a box that's probably 2 foot tall.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. She's like a little tiny thing. All right, here we go.
This is something that a lot of us we deal with, throughout the colder months. What kind of animals should we be aware of around this time of year when it's cold outside?
So around this time of year, only 2 species of animals in Ohio actually hibernate, and that is the groundhogs and bats.
Okay.
Everything else is going to be active. Typical calls that I get on a daily basis are raccoons, squirrels, skunks, possums, things of that nature.
Wow, in the home.
In the home.
I was thinking, it'd only be those small little critters like
mice, rodents. Yes,
Yeah.
mice. I get a lot of call for mice and rats and things like that as well.
So how do we prevent them from getting in? That's the big question.
So as the weather comes, the colder weather's here, the animals are going to become more opportunistic and more persistent in seeking out shelter. And those places that I see on a daily basis are attics, crawl spaces, chimneys, under your patio, under your deck, and even in your garage, and even sometimes under the hood of your car.
Oh, wow.
So the ways that you can help reduce that happening is make sure that all the soffit on the underneath of your home is secure. There's no missing pieces. Also make sure that your outbuildings and sheds are locked up. The doors are closed.
Very professional. Very professional.
Gosh, very good.
Thank you for making me relive that trauma.
I love how you just like don't know what to do with your arms.
Wait,
I don't like. I'm always in a defensive post, like ready to fight. Yeah. So,
hold on. All right. Hold on. I grabbed one. Hold on. Let me show you. So
you've been on the news 5 times now, Sean or Josh?
Yeah. So like right after I did that WFMJ, right?
Yeah.
So right after I did that, I ended up removing not 1 but 2 distempered skunks in Howland, Ohio. And all I did was make a post on my business page like, hey, just so you guys know, in Howland, Ohio, this is the 2nd distempered skunk that I removed from this same area. Like literally it was 1 house away from the other house. And next thing I know, like 500 and some people shared that post about those distempered. And then WKBN is calling me, WFMJ is calling me, Fox 8 is calling me, somebody else called me. Yeah, it was pretty unhinged. It was pretty wild, you know.
You know what's terrifying, and I didn't realize this until like recently, when a human gets rabies. Right?
Oh, I know
how absolutely awful rabies actually is. Like nobody really gets it anymore, but like if you do, like hydrophobia. Luke, do you know what hydrophobia is?
Afraid of water.
Phobia?
Yeah. So like when you get rabies, your body and your brain won't let you consume water. So like you'll start to drink, like you'll try it. They'll be like, okay, here, drink some water. And you'll drink some water, and your mouth, your throat, and like your body will like make you choke up and spit up the water so that you don't.
You can't ingest water?
No, you're like, your body like freaks out, and your mind like takes over, and you spit out the water. It causes hydrophobia, and you like get dehydrated and die.
Wow.
From rabies. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like insane. It's wild stuff.
Yeah, I watched some videos on YouTube about concerning rabies, and it is a horrific video to watch, man.
Dude,
like it's.
Do you run into something with rabies, Josh? You have to.
I'll be honest with
you.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. So a lot of people think when an animal is acting funny, when they're convulsing and when they're seizing and they have sputum coming out of their eyes or their nose, they automatically think rabies. But honestly, a huge percentage of that is distemper. I have come across a couple cases of rabies, but honestly, distemper is a bigger thing in the animal world than it is rabies.
Real. What about like raccoons?
Distemper and rabies, for those that don't know.
What's that?
What's the difference between distemper and rabies, for those that don't know?
So, distemper is distemper is more rabies is more neurological. It goes to the brain, whereas distemper, it actually affects animals in their spine and their nervous system, and then finally, like I said, it does end the life of the animals. There is no reversal of distemper or rabies in wildlife at all, but whereas distemper, a lot of animals are going to become very confused. They're going to appear blind. They're going to appear like very confused, very lethargic. They're going to have crust around their eyes. They're going to have sputum out of their nose or their mouth. Rabies, when they first get rabies, they're going to be very aggressive, because it's a neurological thing more so than it is a nervous system thing. So that's the biggest difference in them, you know.
So when you see, like, I mean, I've seen raccoons and they're like, okay, it's out during the day, it looks confused, it's walking around kind of dazed. That's distemper. Yeah. That might be distemper then.
Temper. Yep.
And everybody says, oh, it's got rabies. It's got rabies. It's got rabies.
That's distemper.
Yeah, the rabies rate in most animals, including bats that carry, a high percentage of rabies, it's like 0.01% that it's rabies. Wow. Typically it's distemper,
With distemper, is it the same thing where like you have to be bitten by an animal that has it? Or how do you like?
No, it is actually if you make contact with the animal, or also it's airborne. So it's aerosolized, where if your animal or yourself is outside. Now, the difference between rabies and distemper is animals can get distemper, humans can't get distemper. Okay. So, but if you're outside and you're messing with a distempered animal, and that animal, because they will cough a lot during distemper, and when they're coughing, it becomes airborne. And if that gets on your boots or your shirt, your shoes or your pants or anything like that, and you take it inside and you have a dog, it can be transmitted in the air as well.
Oh, so, no shit. I didn't know that.
Wow, that's learning. I had no idea.
That's really good to know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So do pets get, that's Shelby this one, I don't know, do dogs and stuff get shots for distemper, right?
Yeah, so it's pretty standard when you get a new puppy or when you keep up to date your dogs that you have in your home. I would hope that 95% of people get a distemper and a rabies shot for their animals.
So yeah,
Shelby does. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. She takes my dogs to get it all the time.
Judy says I had to take rabies shots when I was 7, 12 shots in the belly counterclockwise. My father had to too. We were in the garden and a mill rat attacked us. Father killed him. Damn rat looked like Cujo.
Wow. It's a big ass rat.
What's a mill rat?
Yeah, there is a lot of different species. There's roof rats, there's Norway rats, wood rats. It's a rat, and rodents do carry rabies. So I would definitely concur that they probably had an encounter with one that had rabies. And I have heard, not myself, luckily, but the series of rabies shots that you have to go through is pretty brutal.
12 shots in your stomach sounds nasty.
Sounds awful.
Yeah, it sounds pretty terrible.
So tell us about these skunks that kind of, like I said, you were getting, I mean, you had Fox News from Cleveland call you, right?
Right. Yeah. So I want to say it was Christmas Eve. I was called to a gentleman's home in Howland, Ohio. He said, this skunk is in the window well of my basement, and it's just been hanging out for hours. Like, it can't, typically if a skunk was down in a window well, they can climb out if they were healthy. So I went and I showed up, and I could tell that it was convulsing. It was having seizures. It had sputum around its mouth and its nose and its eyes. I went ahead and I removed that skunk, and then
textbook distemper right there. Textbook
distemper. Textbook. You're gonna think something's distemper, and you're gonna end up getting freaking rabies because you're gonna try and touch it.
Right.
So then
I'll check for sputum and trust it around the eyes.
Right. A couple days after Christmas, his neighbor called me and said, hey, this skunk is in my backyard and it hasn't moved from the same spot for several hours. It's convulsing, it's shaking, same exact symptoms as the other skunk. He was like, it hasn't moved, it won't move, it's curled up in a ball. When it does wake up, it has convulsions, it has seizures. Sputum around the eye, sputum around the mouth. And then I removed it. And like I said, I made a post just letting that community know, hey, this literally happened on the same road, one house away from the other house. and then the news just got a hold of it, and it was off to the races with the news calls.
Josh, so I call you over. There's a skunk in my window well. Let's go through. Walk me through the steps of how we're removing this skunk from said window well without getting sprayed.
A sputum filled skunk.
So it really,
what are we doing?
The case that it all depends on if you have a window well that doesn't have a porch over top of it, then I'm able to come over there with a dog catcher's noose or a animal control noose, and I'm able to wrap my noose around it, put it in a cage, and take it off the property. The case that I was involved in Howland, actually his back patio was built over the window well. So in that case, we actually had to remove boards off the back patio, and then dispatch the sick skunk and take it out of the window well. And
does it spray when you like noose it or whatever? Is it going to spray everywhere, or how's it work?
Yeah, and to be honest with you, when you are encountering a skunk, in that state of mind, I mean, when I got there, to be honest with you, the skunk had already sprayed a couple times. But it varies. Every case is going to vary whether they spray or not. Most of the time, they're so at the end stages of that disease that a lot of the times they're just kind of like, please put me out of my misery. I have had a couple distempered skunks and a couple distempered raccoons. When I showed up, they just laid there and let me remove them and didn't even respond. They were kind of at the end stage, So, but they're always going to carry a faint smell, and they're always going to spray if you have to dispatch, which is, humanely euthanize the animal.
Yeah.
Just like a human, I was in the medical field for 13 years. When a human way, they're going to expel all of their excrement, same as wildlife. When you have to dispatch that animal, are going to expel all of their excrement, and that does include the skunk spray as well.
Just like Luke's kid expelled his excrement on the bus this morning.
He did. He might have had distemperament.
He might.
Yeah. So I guess with the, and you have remind me, and again, I know you take some heat sometimes for posts and stuff, just from the freaking animal lovers.
Right.
Raccoons, which ones do you, if you collect, you have to get rid of? You have to terminate.
If I collect
dispatch. Murder, kill.
So if you call me and you have a raccoon on your property, whether it has a disease or whether it does not have a disease, I have to dispatch all of them. Okay. And the reason for that being is, so conservation. So we talk about dispatch. So yeah, right. So we talk about that a lot because, like the Mill Creek Deer Park thing and all that stuff. The reason for that is if that raccoon has early onset distemper or rabies, and I'm not able to see it, if I take it somewhere and I release that animal, it's spreading that disease into an area that otherwise wouldn't have that disease. And also, it's a wildlife biologist studied fact that when you relocate an animal, almost 80 to 90% of those animals do not survive, whether it be because of lack of food, water, shelter, predation, or the elements, whether it's be too hot or too cold, things of that nature. So even if I were to pick up an animal that was healthy and relocate it, it's still going to die a very slow and painful death, I'm
going to relocate some of those bunnies that are in my backyard eating my garden. But anyway, sorry.
What animals you're not allowed to kill, like bats, right?
Bats. I remember that. Bats.
Bats are protected in Ohio, which is nice. Bats are protected. there is certain species that you can relocate in Ohio, which are squirrels and groundhogs, bats, snakes, things of that nature that can't spread diseases, and they actually flourish in a new environment. You can relocate. Yeah.
What's your least favorite animal, Josh?
Yeah, if Josh, when you go out and you get a call, and you're like, like driving out to the place.
Man, dude, I gotta tell you, man, it's humans, man. It's not the animals. Like
my wife would agree. My wife would
I agree with that.
Yeah, like my least favorite thing on the planet is humans, Like
mine too, Josh. Mine too.
Skunks are never fun.
Thanks, Sarah. Great to see you too. Thanks.
Skunks are somebody said I'm their favorite. That's awesome. Skunks,
I think she was talking about me. Sorry.
Skunks are a little bit for work because the smell and the fact that I have to wear a Tyvek suit and I have to she said she definitely means
yeah, definitely. She had to clarify she wasn't talking about us.
So like skunks are probably my least favorite, but I'll be honest with you, like there's nothing in Ohio that is really my least favorite because there's nothing really super dangerous in here.
What about turtles? Can you relocate turtles?
Yeah, you can relocate turtles. Yeah. Yep.
Josh, hear me out, dude. I have a pond in my backyard. Okay. I'm gonna get it dredged out. You start having to remove turtles. We turn my pond into a turtle sanctuary. You start dropping off all the turtles at my pond, and then turtle sanctuary.
I mean, I would be down for that.
You
would we have to make sure it's like a certain depth or something, or would they die?
He's not getting pet turtles. He's probably getting snapping turtles if you get turtles, right?
That's the number one call as far as turtles go. But nobody wants.
Don't want that. Not gonna lie to you. Don't want that.
Get rid of red ear gliders or painted turtles or Jimmy turtles or our box turtles or anything like that. 90% of the time, well, I could probably say 99% of the time when somebody calls me for a turtle problem, it's because the snapping turtles, once they get into your pond, they're going to decimate your fish population,
Okay. So anything but snapping turtles, you bring them over, turtle sanctuary.
Yeah, because these things are snapping turtles. Those things look like freaking alligators. By the time they're done growing, I mean, they're like huge. Some of the ones I've seen. I mean,
they're one of the coolest animals that are like, I am weird. Like the cute furry animals. Yeah, I love them. But like bats are super dope to me. Snakes, I love getting snake calls. And snapping turtles, like you have to understand when they get to a certain size, if you look up and if you do any research on snapping turtles, for them to get to some of the sizes of some of the ones that I've removed, they're 50 to 75 years old.
I believe that. Yeah.
Which is really, really cool. They're a really awesome animal. Yep.
Here's a good one. What about coyotes, man? You ever run into those things yet?
I have done some coyote removal in Austintown. I've done some coyote removal in Trumbull County and Cortland, Ohio. Both of those cases, they decided to make small pets their meals. Okay, so they had outside cats or they had small dogs, and the case that I did in Austintown was a woman that had a kitten. She's had this cat since it was a kitten, so it was like 8 or 10 weeks old, and she had it when it was aged 10 years old. The coyote decided to come on her back patio and take the cat away from her. So so I was able to remove that coyote for her the very next.
If that happened to my cat or my dog, I'm telling you right now, I would be like freaking Predator out there.
Rambo.
I mean, it would be like I would kill every coyote. I would try and kill every coyote within a 5-mile radius at this point. like I would be out there in freaking camo.
Yeah, absolutely. Out there in a ghillie suit. Yep.
How'd you get? Did you use cages again? They're probably too smart, right? Were you shooting them?
I'll be honest with you. When it comes to canines, because they are the smarter species, IO. So when it comes to fox and when it comes to coyotes, I typically do use foothold trap methods because they are a lot easier to catch that way. When you put a cage out there, they're pretty wise to that. They're pretty hard to catch. It can be done, but it's a lot more time consuming, and it's a lot more work for myself, and it's a lot more time on my client's property. So I use traps. And, just so if anybody's watching this, I know there's a lot of misconceptions about foothold traps. They think that they break bones, or they break their feet, or break their ankles. Those traps have been outlawed for probably before any of the three of us were born. The foothold traps that we're allowed to use simply hold the animal in place, like a handcuff.
Oh, it's not like the bear, like you see in like the old movies, like the bear traps. It's not like that anymore, right?
They're not allowed to have jaws. They're not allowed to have spikes. Not allowed to have any of that stuff. These simply just hold the animal in place, so I can either put it in a cage and take it off the property, or I can dispatch the animal while I'm there on the property.
So we have where I hunt, there's coyote. And I don't think anyone could possibly comprehend, until you see these things in person, running across the field, or smelling, like how smart they are, how fast they are. Like, I'm up in a tree, scent covered clothing. This thing is 200 yards away, 150 yards away. And I just did the slightest movement. The slightest movement in the tree stand, and he turns, looks, and takes off. And I'm like, you got to be freaking kidding me! Like, how smart those things are.
I have yet to see them, and I hear them all the time.
Isaac, they're so smart.
Super intelligent animals. Yeah. Very, very hard to fool a coyote. They are.
Oh, dude.
Canine are by far, whether a nuisance trapper or a fur trapper, by far canines are the most difficult to capture because of their intellect.
I 100% believe that. Okay, we got a couple questions. I got to go at 7:30 because I got stupid basketball. All right, but we have an outdoor rat. I've set traps. How do you get this thing? Well, you call Josh up, right? Josh, you'll go get that thing for her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I ask, like, what do you charge? Like what's the cost?
So I typically charge for something like that. I typically charge a one-time only travel fee. That includes my travel time, the assessment of the situation, anything that I'm going to do there, whether it's setting traps or coming up with any kind of plans or actions, is $175. And then after that, it really just depends on what animal I'm dealing with. Whether it's a rat, one thing compared to a skunk or something else that's going to be a little bit more difficulty level.
Right.
So
she says you said you trap your own animals, but it sure sounds like
obviously you don't trap them. You try to trap them.
Well, I mean, it depends on what kind of traps you're using. It depends on what kind of bait you're putting in there. I mean, I'm always down. Like, the one thing about me and my company is, like, if you need tips or if you need pointers on how to DIY it yourself on your own property, you could always give me a call or shoot me a message on Facebook. I want, anybody that's watching this, please follow me at Sonner Solutions Nuisance Wildlife Removal on Facebook or on Instagram. I'm always down. Like, I get a lot of people that maybe don't want to pay me or maybe don't want to use my services, but they just want to ask me questions. I'm absolutely down to educate people to DIY it themselves.
Sarah, have you tried a slice of Swiss cheese or like a little triangle of Swiss cheese on in a trap? Have you tried that yet? Like, get the in there, Swiss chease.
Have you tried
works in every cartoon?
What about a true de loop? Have you tried that yet? I believe it's called a wolf hole. Are you familiar with that, Sarah? Google that. A wolf hole, a true de loop.
Punji pit, I think.
Punji pit.
Punji pit.
Have you tried a Punji pit? Just get a shovel and put some steak, dig a hole and put some steaks.
Some steaks at the bottom and then cover it with leaves. That'll work. I think they use that nom. They use that nom.
Punji pit.
Right. Yeah, those traps.
All right, got one more question here. Here's another one from Angels on YouTube. It seems you have fleas are bad this year. I spent a fortune on flea prevention. You don't do you do the animals, right? You have
animals, but so if anybody's watching this for future reference, they can always get a hold of a person that has really helped my business a lot. Aardvark Pest Control. Aardvark Pest Control out of Vienna, Ohio. They cover Trumbull, Mahoning, and I think a couple other counties. I only do animals. I don't do insects. I don't do bugs of any kind. I don't pesticides. I don't do rodenticides or anything of that nature. I'm just a trapper, and I do, animal exclusions, animal deterrent, things of that nature. I don't do bugs.
Yep. Let's see here. And then Melanie says also when you go to a home with their nuisance animal, you give them tips on how to stop that animal from getting in again. Perfect.
Absolutely. That's the biggest thing. Getting rid of the animal is one thing, but then it's like, hey, this is how the animal is getting in, and this is how they're gaining access to your attic or your outbuilding or your shed or underneath of your deck or your porch. So we've got to put it into that so it doesn't happen again. So I'm always telling my clients hey, we've got to do plan A, B, and C to make sure this never happens again,
Right. So it's a game plan, not just you're going to take them out. You're going to tell the customer what to do. That's good stuff. Well, what's up next, Josh? You gonna keep going on the news and stuff, or what do you got? What's your plans here?
I mean, here's the thing. I'm terrified of the news. I am terrified of it. So that is the exact reason I keep doing them. That's the exact why I keep doing them, because obviously that's the only way I'm going to get better at them, and that's the only way
I love that mentality, dude.
That's good. Like I said, man, it's tough. You did a great job on that, and you got a lot of business from it, right?
I did get a lot of calls from that. Absolutely. Yeah.
Always. The best advertising is that kind of stuff. Every time we go on the news, we get business. We use Isaac immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately. So
did you have that picture to put up there? The one picture that we were talking about on Facebook earlier?
I didn't grab it, dude. Once my kid shit his pants, I had to go pick him up. It was kind of a shit show. Which one?
Literally a shit show.
Literally a shit show.
The Don't Feed Wildlife one.
Oh yeah, let me grab it. I can grab it real fast. Literally a shit show. Let's grab it here. Hold on, let me grab it.
I'm glad that, and I just deal with it.
Yeah.
What's that?
But I'm glad I don't deal with that, and I just deal with animal shit.
Oh, Josh. And then I'm trying to work all day with my 5-year-old here. It's just like, oh.
How do you do with recovering from pooping his pants on the bus?
He was fine. He was fine after that. I wanted to bring him back, and Maggie's like, no, you can't.
Why? Why can't you?
Because he crapped they're going to think he's sick. You can't bring a sick kid to school, even if he isn't sick.
Right.
He's going tomorrow because I'm not having that little shithead here tomorrow. All right, here we go. Feeding kills wildlife. Giving food to animals makes them more aggressive. Due to loss of natural fear of humans, increased potential attacks. Artificially grows wildlife. I know, Lucas, I'm coming. Artificially grows, and then I can't see the bottom. So don't feed animals, right?
How many raccoon?
What's that?
I said that raccoon looks like it's going to mess someone up.
So here's the thing. I get a lot of people on whether it is, somebody will post on the internet like, hey, I need this animal removed, or hey, I have this animal. And then you have like that, Luke and I talked earlier, and like, hey, I feed the raccoons, and hey, I feed the possums. And it's like, do you realize that is hurting more than it's helping? It's not, it's taking away their wild instinct. Nowhere you go on a hike on Mill Creek Park or anywhere you go in Ohio, nowhere is there a cat food tree or a tuna fish tree. Like,
yeah,
that doesn't happen. So you're really actually, and it makes their diet very unhealthy, and it actually shortens their lifespan. So a lot of people that are like, well, I'm going to feed the wildlife. Well, you're not feeding them what they need to be eating, you know. So actually, you're not helping those animals at all.
And then if they rely on you, you reinforce bad behaviors. They then rely on you. They get lazy, and then when you disappear or when you stop feeding them, they all die.
Right, absolutely. So yeah, it makes them more aggressive. Like I said, it's the fastest way to, like I said, when animals get a disease and it's early onset and they're still functional, and you're inviting diseased animals, not only are you affecting the wildlife, but you're affecting the stray cats that you're feeding. So yeah, it's very dangerous. You think you're helping, but really you're hurting,
Makes
just
sense.
like just like when people post on a Facebook post, somebody will say, hey, I have these animals on my property and I need them removed. Somebody will get on Google, which I'm not saying that Google is a terrible resource, but 30 seconds of Google does not make you a wildlife biologist at all, So when you are recommending these people to do this, that, and the other, you might be causing more damage than you are causing good,
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, I just noticed something, and this is total change of subject. That sign on your back that picture in the background, that is a picture of the map of World of Warcraft.
It is. I'm at my cousin's house right now because she has a library and a study here where she works.
Nice.
She is a total nerd. So
love it. Dude, I'm a nerd enough to know what that map is. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, she plays video games, and World of Warcraft or something that her and her husband play.
Me too. I don't play World of Warcraft anymore, but
yeah, I don't know what that map is at all. I'm a mapper. I probably don't even know like our America map at all, really. So.
Nice.
Yeah,
it's all good, dude. Well, yeah, I think Luke went to basketball. I think this is a good spot to wrap it up. But I appreciate you for coming on, buddy. And if there's anything we can do for you in the future, if you go on the news or do anything again, we'll make sure to share it, and we'll do a live critique of it for you too.
My biggest thing, Isaac, is I am trying desperately to reach 2,000 likes and follows on my business page.
Okay.
If anybody that watches this can go to Sonner Solutions Nuisance Wildlife Removal, like and follow my page on Facebook.
I'll make a post right now too that is basically a Sonner Solutions is trying to get to 2,000 likes and follows. Please, MLO Bros and everybody go, or MLO Bro fans and everybody go over there, follow, give them a like. Let's get them to 2,000. So I'll help you out.
Absolutely, man. And when you get a hold of that shirt and hoodie, dude, definitely send me a photo on my business page too, man.
I'll wear them to the gym, and I'll send you pictures of me getting a lift on with my hoodie on.
All right, man. Thanks.
All right, buddy. I'll see you around. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks. Have a good one, man.
Yep, you too. Well, thank you everybody for watching. Luke is not coming back. He is, like we said, going to take his kids to basketball. So thank you so much for watching tonight. We appreciate you for being here. If you haven't already realized, the MLO Bros, we are loan officers. We are real estate agents. If you want help selling your house, let us use our platform as real estate agents, as loan officers to sell your house. If you want to go see houses, call me, call Luke. We'll help you buy your next house. We'll finance it, whatever you need. We are licensed professionals, like I said, real estate agents and loan officers. So give us a call. Thank you so much for watching tonight. I know it was a weird time, the 6:45, but thanks for being here. And we'll be back next Tuesday. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much for watching.